Have you ever wondered how people actually introduce themselves in Spanish? You know, in the real world? Well, let's just toss the textbook aside for a second. In this explainer, we're going to break down real introductions from native speakers, so you can build your very own authentic introduction from the ground up. You know, an introduction is way more than just saying your name. It's really the first step in sharing who you are, where you're from, and how people can connect with you. It's the doorway to any real conversation, and today we are going to master it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll meet our sources, the real people we're learning from. Then, we'll get into the core building blocks of any intro. After that, we'll dive into the fascinating world of Spanish addresses and contact info. And finally, we'll put it all together so you can build your own. Let's get started. Okay, so our source material today isn't some dry textbook. Oh no, it's something way better. Real-life examples from 10 native speakers. We're going to really analyze the patterns and the phrases they actually use to see how these introductions really work.
And just look at this diversity. Our speakers are from all over the Spanish-speaking world. We've got folks from Spain, Colombia, Argentina, Peru, and beyond. This is amazing because it lets us see not just what's common everywhere, but also all the cool regional differences that make the language so alive.
All right, let's dive into the good stuff. Now, even with all that diversity we just talked about, you're going to see that the basic building blocks of an introduction are surprisingly consistent. Let's take a look at the core 4 elements you'll see over and over again.
I mean, look at the beautiful simplicity here. It's all laid out for us. Do you see the pattern? Almost every single person starts with me llamo for their name, then they follow it up with their origin using soy, and where they live right now with Vivo in. These right here, these are the absolute essentials. And now for the fun part. This is where things get really, really interesting when we start talking about addresses. This is where we get to see all those fascinating regional flavors and some very specific vocabulary start to pop up. So you might think the word calle for street is all you need, right? Well, not so fast. It's definitely the most common, but it's not the only one. In Argentina and Spain, you'll also hear avenida. And then check out Colombia. They use carrera, which is a term you'll pretty much only hear there. And in Mexico, they even have cerrada for a cul-de-sac. It's these little details that make all the difference. Okay, here's a piece of vocab you absolutely positively need to know. Código postal. You'll often see it abbreviated as just CP. This is the universal term for a zip code or a postal code, and you'll see it pop up in almost every single one of our examples. Now this is really cool. Just look at the sheer difference in detail here. On the left, we've got Saul from Mexico City, and he gives this incredibly precise address. He includes the colonia, which is the neighborhood, and even the delegación, which is kind of like an administrative district. Then on the right, Rosa from Spain is way more direct. It's a perfect example of how much address formats can really vary.
And the differences don't stop at the street. They continue right inside the building. So while piso is pretty common for floor, the word for apartment itself changes. You'll hear departamento in Argentina and Chile, but apartamento in Uruguay. And get this, in Spain they often specify the portal, which is the main building entrance. Then back in Mexico, they use interior to pinpoint the exact unit number. So many little nuances.
Okay, so you've given your address. The next logical step, of course, is sharing your contact information. So let's look at the simple but super important phrases our speakers use for their phone numbers and email. Here's a little thing you'll notice. Some speakers use the full phrase, mi número de teléfono es, while others just shorten it to mi teléfono es. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that both are completely natural and totally correct. It really just boils down to personal preference. Okay, check out this number, 9. A full 9 out of our 10 speakers included their email address in their introduction. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you that in pretty much any formal or semi-formal situation, sharing your email is just standard practice. It's expected.
So how do they actually say it? Well, the most common phrase you're going to hear is mi correo electrónico es. It's the classic. But you'll also hear some speakers shorten it to the more modern anglicized mi email es. And you know what? Both work perfectly.
All right, we've gone through the data, we've spotted the patterns, and we've pointed out all those cool regional differences. Now, it is your turn. It's time to put all this great info together and build a template for your own personal introduction. And here it is, your 4-step template built from everything we just learned. It's that simple. Step 1, start with your name, me llamo. Step 2, state your age and where you're from. Tengo años y soy de. Step 3, give your address. Vivo en la calle. And finally, step 4, share your contact info. Mi teléfono es y mi correo es. This right here is your solid foundation.
So a template is a fantastic start, but a real introduction has personality, right? It's not just about rattling off data, it's about making a connection. Maybe you'll add your job, or maybe a second last name, or the specific name of your neighborhood. So the real final question is, what unique detail are you going to add to make your introduction truly yours? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.